Again, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ms. Matias, we are live recording and streaming, and we proceed with this morning's public review session.
I did. I just. Thank you.
So everybody put their mics on?
Rename.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session for March 10th, 2026. We'll begin with the zoning calendar, continued hearing items. Commissioner Sheta is delayed. Item number 9, 2023, 11BZ, 1008 Banner Avenue, Brooklyn.
So, at board reopened it on January 26th because the site being in flood zone, board needed clarification regarding the evacuation plan and the plan meeting the Appendix G for the proposed use. Applicant has also received a WRP sign-off. So applicant made a submission, and in that it provided an outline of, it laid out an evacuation plan in case of a flood. The information provided by the architect included 3 different scenarios about the building flood proofing. So the driveway area that is just outside that's within the building will be wet proofed, permitting water to enter the area without causing damage. And the building will be dry flood proofed up to 12-foot design flood elevation as required by Appendix G. In addition, the applicant also outlined, as I mentioned, 3 different scenarios. One is prior to the flood event, and this is when known, when a warning has been given, prior to that flood event, daycare will be, and the daycare will be occupied. Barriers will be placed at the exit and the to ensure that the building is secured from any flooding. And this is, again, assuming they get advance warning and the parents will be informed, children not be brought, school will be closed, and during that situation. However, another option was provided, which is unexpected flooding during the course of a typical day. And it outlined how the class will be evacuated, who will be responsible for evacuating the students, and where they will be placed, and then they will, basically the children will be moved from the ground floor to the floors above, which is well above the design flood elevation, and until it is safe for them to be brought down and brought to, and be taken by the parents and or guardian. And so there were these 3 scenarios. The other one is if time permits before the water rises on a typical day, if some warning comes in, if there is time to start preparing for it, that option also has been provided. And accordingly, the plans has been revised, where the corrected design flood elevation is shown as 12-foot, and the overall building wall, therefore, also is now revised. It is now at a 31-foot 4-inch rather than 32. The question I had was, is the mechanical room located above the design flood elevation that is located on the ground floor? And is there any other mechanical room? Is that the only mechanical room? The second is show on the plan the locations of the floodgates and a detail of the gate type. So those are my basic questions initially. I want to hear from other commissioners before I make any further recommendations. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I have no further comments. I thought the application was responsive.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I agree with Vice.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner,
Thank you, Chair. Sorry.
Telepo? No. So the only concern I have is that when the water comes in, the perimeter walls, I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to withstand like water pressures or that kind of like structural concern. So I would just ask them to check with their structural engineer to make sure that things will be.
Sorry, is your microphone on? Just checking.
It is.
It is, okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's better, thanks.
So I would suggest that the get in touch with their structural engineer and make sure that loads are gonna be taken care of by the existing structural elements. And if they need like any retrofit or strengthening, they take care of that. That's all what I have, but I'm satisfied with the application otherwise.
okay. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I have a couple of comments. Sorry, there is an echo.
It is.
Okay. I believe if there were to be a flood during the school day or while the building is occupied, the plan to have the children go upstairs is fine, but I believe DOB and Appendix G is going to require that you have not only the barricades for the portion that's below the design flood elevation, which is the ground floor, you'll also need stairs that go up and over so that people can egress without having to remove the barricades. And the point is that DOB will require a dedicated storage space that's accessible for reaching those specific flood barriers and stairs for that event. So the ground floor is already pretty tight and you're gonna have to find that storage area. That I'm sure will be resolved later down the line after this, after the BSA hears the case, but it's just something I wanted to bring up because overall I'm a little bit concerned about how tight the first floor is getting. And one thing that we've talked about a lot is the driveway becoming a critical point for drop off during the mornings and for pickups in the afternoons. And I'm going to share the screen with the addition of stairs. Well, to back up, the compliance with Appendix G has required that mechanical closets are now above the design flood elevation, which is at +12. And so I'm going to zoom into namely the closets here. The mechanical and the meter room on the first floor have to now be raised above the design flood elevation, which has now necessitated this walkway with stairs, which then pinches the driveway when there's a car parked to 8'6". So it has always been critical that there aren't cars parked here during arrival or pickup. But now, as this gets tighter, it becomes even more critical that no one can park here during those morning hours and evening hours. So I have a couple of requests of the applicant. One is please dimension your stairs and your landings, this new hallway and your door clearances, and make sure that you've got the right clearances that you need in order to maintain your ADA accessibility. Normally I wouldn't be this nitpicky, but we're now so tight here that every inch is going to matter. And if you have to revise this floor plan in any way that further pinches the driveway, I would think you'd have to come back for an amendment or at least for a letter of L&O. So I'd like to try and make sure that we are looking through all of those clearances so that we don't have to take another look at this later. Also, I think that it would be important to stripe a 9-foot clear drive aisle that clearly indicates no parking during certain hours so that it's clear that during morning drop off and afternoon pickup that no one is allowed to park in those 4 spaces. That's what I would recommend here because I believe the driveway is critical for the successful operation on this very busy street.
Yes, I agree. I think a lot of the concern of the reason the board is focusing on the driveway is to ensure that there won't be any backup on Geiger Avenue during morning pickup and afternoon morning drop off and afternoon pickup. And the driveway will be used during those periods for that particular operation. And there shouldn't be any vehicles parked in that area during that period of operation. And so having that very clearly demarcated and codified is going to be critical. I think keeping all of this in mind, a restrictive deck should be provided so that the applicant is absolutely beholden to this requirement, and the recommendation that Commissioner Yoon has provided of the striped area, all of those diagrams need to be part of the restrictive deck. The other part is if during a typical day, a flood warning is issued, again, making sure that particular driveway is also free and clear of any vehicle that is parked there. So it is easy to contain the children for the drop off and pickup that would happen. So integrate that into your operational plan and your flood prevention note, and revise the plan accordingly. And those dimensions do become critical, because I am concerned that when it does go to DOB and DOB reviews it for code compliancy and these other requirements come in, the plans gets modified, and which would result in if that results in reduction of the driveway area to the point that it becomes non-functional, then it does affect board's finding. And that is one of the reason I'm also being very particular that that area that we are relying on based on applicants' findings and statements, that would be used to address one of the critical findings of that the board has to make. So a restrictive deck must be provided, which incorporates the site plan, the operational plan of drop-off pickup, flood emergency evacuation plan, and the associated plans that go with both of those projects. Thank you.
Next one.
Yeah.
Item number 10, 2024-38 BZ, 90-17, 179th Street, Queens.
Just, sorry. Give me a second. All right. Applicant has revised the proposal to a single-family, two-story plus cellar home at the subject site. This eliminates the use waiver. The only waiver the applicant would be requesting is a side yard waiver. According to the side yard study, abutting lot 43 seems to have a 2-foot wide side yard. Though per plot plan, it seems to be a lot line building. So please confirm that. And with regards to finding D, the applicant has revised it and has shown that historically lots 42 and 40, though were commonly held for a brief period for a year, they were always developed with separate buildings and detached buildings, and they were always treated as two separate lots. So we had also asked the applicant to show if the two lots were combined, what could be generated. The applicant states that only one detached home could be built because the minimum lot width requirement for a detached home is 25 foot for a 1 and 2 family home. So I have no additional questions regarding the D finding. As I had stated, I think providing a building on this side, providing their minimum 5-foot required side yard would result in a floor plate that is about 11 foot wide, which we have in the past, the board had recognized that that is not an adequate width for a reasonably sized residential room layout. So I don't have any additional comments on this. Vice Chair Shibata?
Thank you, Chair. I agree with you. I believe that the D finding is met because even if these two parcels were used in common, they would still have a hardship.
My only other comments were responded to in the most recent filing that we received on Monday, which regarded the zoning floor area. There was a discrepancy, but it was
It was
corrected
corrected, yeah.
in the statement of facts and as well as in the revised plans.
great.
So I have nothing further to add. I think I'm satisfied with this application as it stands today.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I had asked that they convert this back to a one-family home.
I'm sorry, Commissioner LeBron, we can't hear you on the recording.
I had asked them to convert this back to a single-family home because the layout for the two-family home was not, it was a very awkward layout. And they were very responsive to that, and I have no more comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. The only comment I have last hearing was regarding the FEMA map. I did ask them to submit one if it does exist. In their response, they indicated that all the existing map is the index map, and they said it's not, the site is not located in a special flood hazard area. So I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I thought they also were responsive and I'm satisfied.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 11, 2025-06 BZ, 8802 Northern Boulevard, Queens.
Okay. Rolling through my notes. Okay, so we received revised documents. Applicant is, in its revised statement of facts and finding, has requested a change in the hours of operation and is requesting the drive-through operation hours be changed to 12 a.m. From 10:30 a.m. 7 days of the week. Applicant, with regards to the existing fence, applicant, and this is where I have a little confusion with the document. Applicant states that replacing the 100-foot long fence with a 10-foot high fence will be burdensome. However, with regards to the existing and the proposed buffering along the residential rear lot line, the statements in the cover letter do not correspond with the plan or the statement of facts, especially with the height of the fence and the treatment. Is the proposed height of the fence total of 10 feet existing, which is a combination of a 3-foot high masonry wall with a 7-foot high fence with acoustical mat as shown in drawing sheet 104 versus a 3-foot high masonry wall plus a 4-foot high chain link fence with opaque slats as stated in statement of facts and findings. So regardless of the proposed change in the hours of operation for the drive-through, an opaque slat fence along the rear lot line is absolutely not acceptable. It needs to be changed to an acoustical barrier kind of a fence. Furthermore, the board had asked for a higher fence height and a better material factoring in the proposed extension of the drive-through operating hours. Community board had recommended that no sound attenuation amplification be permitted after 9 p.m. And the prior board condition was very similar to that, which was that the drive-through shall be closed from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now here the applicant is proposing to extend it to 12 a.m. without any improvements proposed for the attenuation measure. And the distance of the nearest residence from the menu board, it is inconsistent in the it is inconsistent with the plans. I mean, at least the way it's stated in the statement of facts. According to the plan, the nearest residential building is located 26 feet from the menu board as per drawing sheets 201 and 202. Also, in the statement of fact, the applicant states that the prior board had established regarding the distance of the nearest residence. I'm not sure what that means if the prior board had established it. The board needs to assess the proposed action based on existing context And if there is a change that is warranted, board will consider that. So in this particular case, unlike a uniqueness where a uniqueness has been established, this is not a uniqueness finding. So I'm not quite sure where this language is going. So please remove that from the document. So revise the statement of, statements in the statement of facts, which is stated everywhere, I think including pages 12, third paragraph, page 11, paragraph 4, and there could be other places, but these were the ones I noticed. Applicant has also provided a handicap access to the building from the handicap parking space. I just don't know if there is a minimum handicap parking. Is there a minimum width that is required? Is it minimum 4 feet? So if that is the case, no, not for parking, the walkway. So if so, just dimension it. I believe it is 4 feet. If so, please indicate that width of that handicap pathway that is shown in the plan. But I am still concerned about the way the applicant is responding to the comments, which is it's asking for an increase in the hours of operation for the drive-through, while at the same time not proposing to improve the fence condition along the rear lot line, which currently the total height of the rear lot of the fence is 10 foot high. So I would like the applicant to clarify it. 5 feet. Okay.
It's 5 feet for access adjacent to the parking space, and then a clear path must be 3 feet,
Clear part must be 3 feet. Okay.
unless the applicant wants
Yeah.
to, confirm something else.
Thank you. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. You've actually spoken to all of my comments. I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner no, I'm sorry, Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have that the existing hours are till 11 prior to asking. Am I wrong?
So that's another, I mean, we saw many hours of
Mhm.
different, but as of the most current statement, it's requesting a change in the hours of
Yeah.
operation from the existing 10:30 10:30 PM to 12.
Right, yes.
That's the current, is what they're asking.
That's what they're asking for now, but my understanding is it didn't close at 9. The hours were till 11 previously. And that the reference to 9 had to do with the ABC.
Right, so the drive-through had to be closed after 9 PM.
Oh, see, I
That
had
was
that
the
it
prior
was
board.
11.
That was the prior, no, that's the prior board condition. The prior board condition required that, and this is what I have from. Is that what you have?
So,
I'm also pulling out let me look at the prior resolution because that's where I had seen the condition.
I had in the 2019 resolution, the drive-through enunciator shall be closed from 9 PM to 7 AM
Yes.
Monday to Thursday, and 9 PM to 8 AM Friday and Saturday. But then I had that the hours were until 11.
I think
So
that's
is it
the.
just the restaurant?
The restaurant hours, because again, the zoning district permits the eating, drinking as of right. So I'm not questioning the restaurant hours. I'm only focusing on the drive-through hours and.
Yeah, I just wanted clarification as to that.
I'm trying to pull out the resolution.
Do you want me to pull up the text that Commissioner Otley Brown's talking about?
Sorry, yeah. Okay, so the resolution this is from 2019. The 2021 adopted, 2019. It says the proposed hours of operation for the eating and drinking establishment is a 24-hour per day, 7 days per week. And drive-through facility is closed from 9 PM to 7 AM Mondays through Thursdays, and 9 PM to 8 AM Fridays and Saturdays. That's in the latest resolution. And that the drive-through annunciator shall be closed from 8 PM to 7 AM, Mondays through Thursdays, and 9 PM to 8 AM, Friday to Saturday. That was our condition based on their hours of operation. So it is consistent.
So it is a 24/7 operation?
The
For the
restaurant-
restaurant?
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
great,
yeah,
thanks,
yeah.
because I didn't catch that. I actually have no additional comments. I think that your comment about the fencing being improved is actually a good one, considering that they are asking for quite a bit in terms of extra hours. And they make a comment that there are no complaints, but you wouldn't know if it closed at 9. It could be that noise at 9 doesn't bother people like noise at midnight, so.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I had two comments from the last hearing. The first one was regarding the lighting. And they provided a detailed letter from High Points Engineering, detailing what's going on with the lighting. So I'm okay with that. I want to thank them for that, like, thorough explanation. The other thing is regarding the noise. And I agree with your comments regarding that they need to do something, but the reason I'm agreeing is not just because they are asking for extra hours. The reason is if they look at their sound analysis, it clearly demonstrates that they need to do something. Let me just to explain it to their engineer. I'm gonna share my screen. So this is the cross-section that's showing the menu board and the pens and the like decay of the sound decibels. And if you look at the menu board here, starts with 73. 73 means that they are using AVC and it's on all the time. So that means that 73, if you take 15 out of that, because the AVC like dictates 15 max on top of the ambient. So the ambient during the like the daytime is 73 minus 15, which is 58. If they want to go like further into the nighttime, that means that the ambient is going to be probably less. And if you look at their diagram here, if you look at the fence, the fence is right before the red contour line, which is 58. So we start with 58 and we go to 58, but inside the property. If you just go on top of that fence right here, I'm not sure if you draw a line like that, right here, like that. So that means that if the sound signal or the sound wave cross that on top of the fence, it's gonna go inside the property and it's not gonna be 50, it's gonna be more than 58 because it increases that on that side. So that means that you need to extend this fence further up to make sure that the noise levels does not exceed the ambience, which is a requirement. We start the only like the main object of the AVC is we start with the ambient plus 15 at the menu board, and then we get that plus 15 decayed or eliminated through the travel of the sound wave, and whatever remains out of that, it should be obstructed by the fence. But in this case, I don't believe it is obstructed. So I totally agree that the fence need to be extended a little bit. And I want to say that I was very confused with the submission letter. It's not clear, and it's not even, I'm not sure if somebody proofread it, but it has some like writing mistakes, I would say. So
So right now, if I add the total, 7 plus 3, that's 10-foot high fence right now. And are you saying that it needs to be higher than 10 foot?
it needs to be extended a little. If it's up to me, I would extend it a little bit, yes.
I just want to be mindful of one thing is that, um, when we do secra analysis, we are factoring in some ambient noise as an acceptable, and anything beyond that is considered impactable. And if I understand it, I believe if Ms. Penke, your hand is up, you want to correct me?
Oh, yes, I think I know what you're going to say, based, because I was looking into this and based on the regular levels, the impact doesn't seem like a lot, but I think that Nasser does have a good point that sometimes the increase just above the ambient can be considered an impact, a
Yeah.
certain degree. But regular construction practices does have built-in attenuation to a point, but yeah.
And what is that? What is the regular level?
I believe it's 28 dBA, but it's not like a apples to apples.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say this is not a temporary construction condition, it's a permanent condition. It's like, this is gonna be the existing structure. If you're gonna allow something like that, especially after the increase, this is even for the existing condition. If you go to the increased hours, I believe it might be worse, and
Okay.
I'm willing to listen to their sound engineer if he can provide some input on that.
Okay.
And by the way, that this fence is placed on top of a retaining wall. So again, like every other retaining wall, I would caution them to consult their structural engineer, because this is an imposed additional wind load on top of the retaining wall. I'm not sure if the retaining wall was designed to withstand that. Probably it's a 2 feet retaining wall, probably it's 10 feet.
It's a 3-foot high retaining wall.
I don't want to keep it in my court. Their structural engineer should look at it, make sure that it is okay.
That's the existing condition. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. On that note, about whether it's a retaining wall or it's just a knee wall, it's unclear to me based on the section if there's an elevation change and if it's actually retaining anything. But if you do put, as the chair said, and I also agree with, a solid acoustic wall in place of a chain link fence, you will have the wind loads that Dr. Sheda is talking about. So you'll probably need to have that all engineered in any case, because you have this giant cantilevered wall instead of a wind permeable fence. The section, I feel like I just sound like a broken record, maybe not to this applicant, but to maybe my fellow commissioners, but you just have to draw it to scale. It is now just really frustrating to see something, and I don't think this is the same engineer or architect as we see on a lot of the other cases, but just to everyone who's sending in architectural drawings that say it's to scale, just draw them to scale. There's no reason this half a foot and this half a foot should be so different, because the whole point of drawing an architectural drawing to scale is to draw to scale. So please just submit your drawings to scale. This is a simple section, I imagine, to draw, but we need it to be site specific. We don't need it to be this copy and paste thing. We need it to show the actual conditions that you're proposing with the overlay of the sound amplification. Otherwise, it's not very useful to us. So please resubmit with a section drawn to scale. Sorry.
Especially it's that CAD drawing.
Well, I think they're just copying and pasting on top of a CAD drawing, which is, I mean, we all know the tricks, but like, I've just asked for it. I think that if you're stamping a drawing set that says it's to scale, or just say it's not to scale. But in this case, I'm saying you need to draw it to scale. Chair, I'm sorry if you said this, I don't recall. Did you talk about the reservoir spaces, number 10 being in the pass-through lane or in the line of traffic?
I did not, this is an existing drive-through and this is how it has operated. So there really is not an alternative on this one. This is how it has operated. And this was so,
Well, I'll just say that the cars are drawn bumper to bumper. They're not dimensioned. So if you could dimension what you're assuming for your car lengths. Seems to me if they're before us, if there's some way we could improve it to fit 10. And one idea I had was locating the drive-through pickup window closer to the street. But I'll defer to the chair here. I feel like this, if this were a new application, obviously this would be problematic.
all right, I just want to, Council Vine just showed me the plan and the dimension where the 41-foot is coming from. So it is a measured distance from the ABC. It's an angular distance. I was measuring it in a more perpendicular distance, but it's in an angle from the ABC to the nearest window, which is 41.8 inches. So that's,
I can share it.
yeah. please
I'll
share.
stop sharing.
Yeah.
This is
So-
regarding the section?
Yeah, so the section only shows, if you take the section, the dimension would be less than 45, less than 41. But if the way it's been measured is from the ABC to the nearest door and that nearest window, and that is 41. So that's how it's being measured.
This is from the prior application. And this is for the statement in this application that says that the board determined the distance.
But the distance is measured on the diagonal.
The
Well,
board
that's
accepted
how
this.
that's how the sound was emanating.
Yeah, I think the menu board was diagonal.
Can you zoom into the menu board? I don't think it appears. It's not done.
It's
It
not
wasn't.
diagonal, it's parallel to the
Yeah,
rear
it's parallel
line.
to the property line. So if you want to judge how much is crossing the.
But if you zoom out, the building does not, so where the menu board is, there isn't any building. So to see the impact of the menu board to the building, it is that distance of 41.8. I understand that.
It's measured to the window.
It is
The
measured to the
residential
window.
window.
Nearest sensitive.
Yeah.
We don't look at the window, we will look at the.
That is a sensitive receptor.
This-
That's how it was analyzed.
These are the the board approved plans
Plans,
from the
yeah.
Popeyes from
Okay.
2019.
Yeah. Because it was measuring it to the nearest window where the sound is coming, because if you take it out, if you do a parallel perpendicular line, then it's a garage structure.
To the garage,
And, right,
okay.
we're done? Okay. All right, so I take back my comment on that based on that note. However, the comment on, with regards to the wall attenuation and treatment holds. Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 12,
Wait,
2025.
sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry, you finished?
I mean, the only other comment I had
Oh,
was
sorry. Go ahead.
just that there's an affidavit to the community board. We talked about this last time that says that there won't be any sound amplification after 9 PM. So again, I think the applicant needs to clarify because the only amplifying sound device is the menu board. And if you're proposing longer hours for the drive-through, that should be made clear to the community board and to us.
When was this affidavit provided?
Um,
What is the date of the affidavit?
It is in response to the community board and let me see. Thursday, can I
Yeah.
find it? Other to Queens. Okay, I'll just share it on the screen. This is in the testimony folder. So the community board, I believe, based on the recommendation from the community board, had said they had concerns about the drive-through. And so the owner signed this, I guess it's not an affidavit, just a letter that states that there will be no amplified sound after 9 PM. I brought it up at the last hearing and the applicant said, well, that's different than the they didn't mean that to imply the drive-through, but I think that's our main concern is the drive-through. That amplified sound is coming out of that speaker.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is still need to correct this in the eyes of the community board and to us if they're proposing longer hours.
Okay.
Is the only implication is coming from the mini bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if there's any others, that should not be happening, but the only one we're really paying attention to is the menu board
Okay.
order station.
It's contradicting the request
Okay.
in other words.
All right, thank you. Okay, good, thank you. Next case?
2025-23 BZ 16161 Baisley Boulevard, Queens.
Okay. So RP 602 has been provided. This is the application for the merger of two lots to a proposed lots 36. A revised tax map and radius map also have been provided accordingly, showing the proposed zoning lot. The fence height and material has been revised to indicate a 6-foot high aluminum fence is proposed along the western and northern lot line, abutting the commercial use, and 8-foot high sound attenuation wall is proposed for the remainder of the rear lot line, abutting the residential use, and a 4-foot high aluminum fence between the parking space and the drive-through lane. And also a 3-foot 8-inch clear path is being proposed from the commercial space to the trash enclosure through the board had aspirational landscaping to be provided along the front of the which has provided will be an in-planting. So I don't have any comments on that. With regards to the signage, drawing Z12 shows the sign and the chart. It is not keyed in with the plan, indicate the proposed location of the signs on the plan. Also clarify what is meant by internal sign. The table, the note there says internal, so I would like to understand what that means. The chart should show the total surface area and illuminated signage by street frontage. Add a note to the plan that board is not waiving signage requirements and is subject to DOB review and approval. In the statement of facts, state the proposed hours of operation for the drive-through and the proposed eating and drinking establishment. At the last hearing, the applicant had stated the hours of operation would be from 10:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. 7 days of the week. I think those are my comments. Ms. Benke, what is the status of the environmental review?
Hey, I did want to pose to the board two possible conditions because there was a previous spill on the site and the EAS had proposed a vapor barrier. So a note to the effect that that will be implemented as per the EAS. And also if you want a standard note about spillage, that under no circumstances shall the applicant allow motor vehicle queues to spill back on the road. The standard note for that.
Yes, absolutely. That in this one, it's critical
Mhm.
that we do add those notes, that the motor vehicle queuing and the spillback. And if there is the standard note that DOT and DOB, basically, if the application fails to meet during the operation of the facility and no other additional corrective measures can reasonably be implemented. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And the vapor barrier notes also. Yeah.
Yeah. If we accept the TDF memo, then there's no other issues for seeker.
Yeah, I did not have any comment on the TDF notes.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Vice Chair Shibata?
I have no further comments on this application.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown,
I have no comments.
Commissioner Sheta,
Thank you, Chair. No additional comments for me.
okay. Commissioner Yoon,
I have two comments. One is on the site plan, please indicate the material of the fence or just refer to the drawing sheet Z010 so that the material is clear. And then the other question I had is, the chair had brought up a concern about using the sidewalk to deliver trash to the trash enclosure. And right now, the Popeyes location has no way of accessing this rear walkway.
oh, yeah.
So please revise the plan so that the Popeye staff can use the rear walkway to get trash and not the sidewalk. Those were my only comments.
Next one, you ready?
Yeah,
Item number 13, 2025-27BZ, 3657 Kingsbridge Avenue, the Bronx.
okay. So applicant submitted revised documents, including revised plan, statement of facts, and findings and traffic assessment. Applicant is providing a 10-foot high sound barrier wall along the rear and the side lot lines, and has revised the landscaping plan. Signage plan also has been revised, and I think there's been some revision to the floor area, which is now revised to 2,236 square feet, a slight increase from the prior one. Section A dash A BSA, drawing number 24, in that include the 10-foot high sound barrier wall. The proposed signage schedule on BSA sheet 4 indicate the total surface area and illuminated square footage per street frontage. Also, you cannot count the interior signs towards street frontage signage calculation. Indicate the proposed height of the trash enclosure on the site plan and in the detail. With regards to the signage, also add a note that BSA is not waiving any of the sign regulations. It shall be reviewed and approved by DOB. And indicate the bulk requirement or the proposed floor area, which is in addition to the FAR. I actually am wondering why I asked that question. So I'm going to go back to my note properly and raise that question. I have it in my note and I'm trying to figure out why I asked about that. Okay, okay. And this, I think this indicate the bulk requirement and the proposed floor area in addition to the floor area. I think that probably is missing in the statement and probably in the zoning analysis chart. So that's probably where that note is coming from. With regards to the statement, this was a comment that was raised at the last hearing and it's still showing up. This was, applicant was comparing the site okay, so at the last hearing, the applicant had stated that the line busting procedures are in use when the queues get longer, and the board had asked that it be added to the statement of facts, which it was not, so that needs to be included. With regards to the air quality analysis, that is missing from finding D. That is a critical finding, so please do analyze it and provide that information, without which the board cannot close on this matter. Because that is a finding the applicant has to meet. And I believe we have, okay, environmental review wise, what is the status, Ms. Penke?
Yeah, this is a type 2, so they did screen out
Okay. All right,
and the traffic screens out at level 1. So
okay. Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Shabeta?
The only thing I'd add is that they did make a change in the submission, minor changes regarding to the seating arrangements. Originally, they proposed 67 interior seats and 47 patio seats, but they revised it for 59 interior and 41 patio seats. The building footprint remains the same, the area remains the same, and there weren't any other significant alterations. I have nothing further to add.
Yeah, I mean, the uses as of right, so how the number of park spaces they
I'm just-
seating arrangement, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just mentioning that
Yeah.
it's new on the plans.
Yeah.
So we should put that on the record.
Provided they meet all the parking requirements.
Provide, exactly.
All right, Commissioner Otley Brown?
So they revised their landscaping and on the western lot line, they have a double row of 6-foot tall arborvitae. But on the southern lot line, they have only a 2-foot wide planting strip with a single row of low plantings. So my question is, why not taller plantings like the arborvitae that's on the west side? Is it that the planting strip is too narrow? That's just my question I was wondering.
Yeah, they can clarify that, but, yeah.
That was my only remaining question.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I have no further comments.
Okay, Commissioner Yoon?
I only wanted to ask about the hours of operation, because they're still proposing the 3:30 a.m. drive-through. And my notes from the last hearings.
I think we said no to that.
Yeah, so I guess if we can clarify what we want. Last time, I believe you had stated that it should be Monday to Thursday to 12 a.m. and then 2 a.m. for weekends. That's what I have in my notes. It does not appear to be reflected in any of the documents that were resubmitted. So if the applicant
Oh.
could clarify that.
Yeah,
Also, I wanted to say thank you for the red line statement of facts. It makes reviewing much easier.
yep.
Item number 14, 2025 40BZ, 2800 Bruckner Boulevard, the Bronx.
Just give me a minute or a second, maybe. Okay, so applicant made its submission in response to the comments that were raised at the last hearing. We also received a community board. We also received a community board vote approving this project. So there was one question that the board had as to with regards to the existing use and the existing building and its compliancy. So the applicant provided a site history and based on the information available, applicant states that the building permit was issued prior to the rezoning of the site from an R4 to an R3A district. And the existing building complies with R4. However, there are some non-compliance, especially with regards to the street wall height, setbacks, and front yard depth. So the applicant conservatively used the R3A as the baseline instead of the R4. And based on that, prepared all the analysis. I'm fine with that approach. I think it's safer to take a more conservative approach on this matter and then proceed accordingly. So in the statement of facts and finding, page 2, in describing the existing floor area, confirm the existing zoning floor area and the gross floor area. So I just provide that. With regards to the classroom, I think this is a question Commissioner Otley Brown had asked. What is the average student to classroom size ratio? And the applicant has provided that. no, I don't think the applicant provided that information. I couldn't find it. With regards to this trash storage, waste management report was provided, and there is an indoor refrigerated trash storage being proposed on the first floor. And there will be an outside area where the dumpster will be kept within those property boundaries. I just want the applicant to ensure that prior to pickup, trash from the refrigerated trash will be placed in the DSNY approved bins and rolled out to the curb for pickup. And after pickup, the custodian will bring the dumpsters back. Or will they be stored in the dumpster and the area, and DSNY will pick it up from the dumpster area? That was the other. Sometimes that happens, especially if you have the dumpsters outside by the property. With regards to the curb cut, since the curb cut along the Swinton is not legal, located less than 50 feet from the intersection, DOT has concerns with this curb cut, and applicant has revised the plan by removing that curb cut and restore it to the full curb height. So add a note that pursuant to, with regards to restoring the curb cut, that it would be built pursuant to DOT-approved builder's pavement plan and built to DOT standard. With regards to the noise attenuation, a new acoustic fence noise mitigation fence curtain will be added to the existing chain link fence. I have to say, acoustic fence don't last very long, especially that are tied to the fence. I would strongly recommend the applicant consider a wall, a solid wall, a masonry wall, or in this case, that would be a better sound attenuation measured than an acoustic, because over time they fray and they fall into disrepair. So I would want to hear from the applicant on that. Applicant is also removing 6 windows in the gym area facing the residential houses and is replacing the operable windows with fixed windows in the cafeteria on the first floor. So add a note to the plan regarding these fixed window conditions. Regarding the treatment of the 6 windows in the gym, can any reason for the proposed treatment as opposed to a similar wall treatment as existing? Unless these are existing windows and those are just being filled in, and so it would be difficult to find a typical similar material, then that's a different story. To address the privacy concern, 2-way privacy films are proposed for the lower part of all the windows on the southern elevation of the building. So I wasn't clear what they mean by lower part of the window. So if the applicant can clarify. And my other question is, why can't that 2-way privacy film be provided on along all the windows in the rear lot line? So that's my question. The applicant has revised and updated the the revised statement of facts with regards to the need for the gym and the height and the transportation by the curbside operation. And the finding D has also been modified. So I think my only questions are with regards to the treatment of the windows, the sound attenuation measure along the lot line. Vice Chair Shibata?
The only thing I would add, Chair, is that they did make some statements with regard to the sister schools, 19 buildings, and the average of 24 to 25 students per classroom. The average size was 500 square feet, which is similar to the premises. And that the proposed classroom size is the minimum size for the school to operate. I too had this similar questions as to what they meant by the 2-way privacy film on the lower levels of the windows, and why that type of privacy film could not be put on all the windows that were facing that lot line. Other than that, I appreciate the applicants want to move this application along as they're seeking to start this start this location in the 26-27 school year. So I hope they can answer our questions imminently so that we can move forward on this application.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
So as to the question about the square footage per student and how that measured up, I agree with Vice Chair that they did give us a different metric, which was the school classroom size and how that measured up. And that did seem to measure up to the other schools. They said they used a survey of 19 surrounding schools. And I'll accept that because when you look at the plans, there aren't a lot of auxiliary spaces that might have kind of inflated the number of square footage per student. It seems like it's classrooms, a few specialty classrooms, but there are like no therapy rooms
Right.
and no individualized treatment rooms and things like that. So I was okay with them using that metric to show that they are giving the minimal amount of space per student that they could and still have a good program. So I actually accepted that answer.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I did look at the submission and I found it kind of responsive. The only two comments I have is one of them is regarding the sound attenuation and the window condition. And it says on the response letter that the applicant is also replacing the operable windows to fixed windows in the cafeteria first floor. So I did like the word fixed windows, especially if you look at the plans, it says windows will not be it says windows will be fixed. This is the exact language from on the plans. For me, fixed means fixed. It's not fixed. It's the first impression I got is it's not fixed. It's like the opposite of movable. It's like it has a defect and it's gonna be fixed. So I would like them to like change that wording and make it will be non-operable. So that would be much more clear to a guy who's not a good guy in English like me. The second thing is the privacy film. The way I took it when they say lower parts of the windows, I thought they are talking about the very low windows, like the first floor.
Okay.
And I haven't seen actually these films identified on the plans, like they were not referred to on the plans, the plan views. Maybe they are on the elevations, but
Yeah, I think I want the applicant to clarify it. I initially thought of that too, but it's like, that defeats the purpose. If it's the lower part of the portion, people are standing, sitting, whichever, so if you want the privacy part of it, then it should be to the entire window, not the portion that is just operable, which in the lower portion.
Well, also, to your point, even if it is the lower floor window, the higher floors is where you're going to be able to have the vantage view over,
Right,
and that would be more effective to the privacy. So in either definition,
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
the only thing that made me think that way is if they mean that they're gonna put it on a part of the window. Let's say the window's like 5 feet by 4 feet, and they wanna put it just on the lower 3 feet. That kind of determination needs a line of sight analysis to the line of sight from the, it's very complicated analysis that I don't believe it works. Like doing that, just put the film on the entire window, and that's why I took it that way, and I wanted them to clarify that. But
Yeah.
in addition to this, I have a question for them. Would this film or these films will be translucent or like partially transparent? Would that impact the light in the school?
That's a question for the applicant to answer.
Yeah, yes, that's for them, yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I believe the submission was okay.
Okay. Commissioner Yun? Thank you.
Okay, while we're on the subject of privacy films, I want to talk about this. I am a big proponent of having as much visible access to daylight as possible. So I think that we should be careful about trying to apply translucent. I assume they're translucent. That's for the applicant to clarify. Be careful about trying to put them everywhere because I think it's better to see out your window. Also, if you have a person that's 6 feet tall, assuming that's a 7-foot tall door, you're not gonna see anything above 6 feet tall. So if they're proposing to just put a privacy film on the lower portion of the second and third floor windows, to me, that was satisfactory because they're solving the problem that we think exists, which is privacy from these floors out to the
Okay,
neighbors. So I think the best, in my opinion, the best way to show it would just be to create some kind of hatch that clearly indicates where you're proposing these. And you can indicate how high that is above finished floor so that, 6 feet is generally the minimum for being able to block the average person from being able to see out of the window. And these are, I believe, middle school kids. So, anyway, I was fine with it. I thought it addressed the issues. I think it would be clearer if they actually hatched it so we could see it. I don't think we need it on the lower floor, especially if we're going to require or recommend a solid wall in the back. Because
right, even as it stands right now, a fence with an acoustical barrier, there won't be any visibility.
right.
So there wouldn't be any need for that on the lower floor. I think the way you explained it, Commissioner, that makes it very clear to me, and I understand what they mean by the lower and the upper. And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with what Commissioner Yoon explained. But it should be on the second floor and on the third floor and the lower levels. Commissioner Shetta?
Yeah, I forgot to mention regarding placing the sound attenuation panels on like chain link fences. I believe I would be asking them if they want to do that, if they insist on like installing this on a chain link fence to provide us a letter from the manufacturer that says that the panels will withstand whatever loads on them spanning between the posts of the chain link fence. Because I believe the manufacturer does not like make these panels to withstand significant loads. They should be placed on like something that provides continuous support instead of a support like every 5 feet or 6 feet. So I believe if they consult the manufacturer would recommend them to put this on a plain wall rather than the recommendation is coming from the board. But if the manufacturer says that it could withstand the loads, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I had one more comment. If I can continue.
I think we broke our rule from yesterday. Yes, Commissioner, sorry, hold on.
I thought Commissioner Yoon is done, and that's why. That is my hand.
That's right. It's
Go ahead.
the multi-purpose room, the applicant has claimed they need the 25-foot height because of competitive volleyball and other sports. If you could explain why that height is needed here in your narrative. This has come up on other cases, and I just want to make sure we're treating all of the applicants consistently. And if there is a need due to competition sport, then we look at it differently than if it's just a multi-purpose room for assemblies. So I think if that's being said, if you could just further expand on that in the narrative, that would be helpful.
I think this is a very, there have been several applications where whether they had varsity tournaments or not, even for especially a standard gym kind of, I think the minimum hoop height or whatever it is requires, so.
Yeah, I think it just so that we have it clearly noted what it's being used for and what the height is needed for that particular sport. For me, at least, that would give me some comfort knowing that this is required here. Those are my comments.
Okay.
Hi, I just wanted to make a note when you're ready.
Ms. Benke?
Um, We did receive a seeker submission in February, and the backup data in response to comments for DEP, school safety, and seeker transportation, March 4th. However, the applicant has still been working on the level of service and detailed HDDV, the heavy duty diesel vehicle analysis. So we haven't submitted those yet because we want them to all reviewed at once to avoid delays. So we'll need an update on those analysis. I do believe the school safety response can go to school safety because it did not involve the LOS. So we can do that soon.
Okay.
Thanks.
If I
Right.
can.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So with regard to the height of the multi-purpose room, we've actually done this a few times on separate cases.
I agree.
And I think, I don't remember the case. I remember there was one in Manhattan with regard to a community center that wanted that needed to prove the height of the, and it's showing the 25-foot structural height as a standard for basketball and volleyball. With regard to the sound attenuation, I think that may be an offline conversation about whether or not we're going to accept fences with sound attenuation on top of it, a chain link fence with sound attenuation, because we keep bumping into the same issue. And I
Right.
think that that's something that we might want to resolve as a board.
I agree. I think Vice Chair's point regarding the basketball court height, it is pretty standard that I think I know why this question is coming up. There was another project that we had reviewed last week where I was extremely skeptical about the need for a multipurpose room to have such a height for a school that really did not have a robust, and that was for a school for grades in kindergartens to fourth grade or something like that, and where there was not really a very full-fledged program of this kind of active sports or anything that was identified or needed even. Whereas in this case, this is a very standard school with middle school children where and high school where the standard court height comes into place. So I was fine with that. Be that as it may, I think the applicant, it's just adding a little bit of narrative. And if needed, our project manager can help you provide with some of the language if you're looking for that. But I don't think we need to. This is a very standard thing. And I know the applicant has done similar projects, so they can just borrow from that.
Yeah, so this applicant actually, 2017-8-BZ, 356, 362 East 139th Street, the Bronx.
The Walton one.
No,
It was a
I think
community
that's a
center.
different, Academic Leadership Charter School had a gymatorium. The
Right,
board
right,
went back and
yes.
forth over the height.
So yeah, you can just borrow your language from there and populate the narrative for this particular project as applicable. Thank you. Yeah. And this is again, being consistent, we want to make sure every report we are reviewing it, where there's a consistency, we apply that. Okay. Thank you.
Move on?
Yeah.
Item number 15, 2025-41BZ, 13802 Hillside Avenue, the Queens, I was gonna say the Bronx.
Okay. According to the community applicant's cover letter, the applicant did meet with the community board's land use committee and also was at the community board's public hearing. However, because the board lacked a quorum for a vote, the application was deferred to March 18th. We did receive a letter of objection, and it is regarding the quality of life, regarding vehicle congestion, queuing, and blocking residential driveways. The applicant has revised, and there was also concern raised regarding idling vehicle and air quality pollution. I think on those ones, I can clearly say that our review process does factor in all of these when we are reviewing them, especially air quality, idling vehicles, and we have notes that clearly, and we review the queuing and ensure that the amount of queuing spaces that is being provided would be consistent with the business operation and the peak volume and the turnover period. All of those are factored in to ensure that all the vehicles that would be queuing up for the drive-through would be contained within the site. Apart from that, an eating and drinking establishment on this site is permitted as of right. The board is only reviewing the drive-through and any components associated with the drive-through. So the comments that's been raised in this objection letter is very much reviewed by the board, and we are still deliberating on that. With regards to the revised plan, indicate on the plan the proposed height of the trash enclosure on the site plan and on the detail sheet. With regards to the reservoir space, dimension the reservoir spaces. With regards to the fence, a 10-foot high sound attenuation attenuated panels is proposed along the rear and the side lot lines abutting lot 59 and rear lot line of lot 58. And so, which is what the board wanted. And I'm assuming the sound attenuated panel means these walls. And these are not panels that are going to be hanging onto something. So I just want to make sure. And also additional notes, signage will be provided with regards to respect your neighbor. With regards to finding E, regarding the buffering and screening is incorrect on page 11. It does not mention the proposed 10-foot high sound attenuation panel proposed along the side and the rear lot lines of lot 59 and 58. Notes to prevent the blocking and sidewalk spillover that has been provided. As I was mentioning, this is something the board requires, that the applicant needs to consider all other mechanisms to prevent any blocking of the sidewalk and spillover onto and or spillover onto the side onto this street. And should the applicant fail, then the board can consider revoking the application, provided the applicant and we have certain specific notes associated with that. So I want to just remind the project manager that the note that has been written on regarding the blocking of the sidewalk and the spillover is consistent with the consistent with the BSA note. Regarding the proposed signs schedule shown on plan sheet 04, again, I don't know why today all the drive-throughs we reviewed, this is a standard problem I'm noticing, show the total surface area and the total illuminated square footage per street frontage. Though the cover letter states that barbed wire has been removed, the photo still shows that it's there. And so I want the applicant to provide a detailed landscaping section indicating the depth of the soil, indicate on the plan the proposed width of the planting strips located along the rear side and front lot lines and the median. So regarding the statement of facts, applicant has provided revised TPD. Regarding the revised statement of facts, state the peak restaurant peak period is from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And that's what is stated on page 4, line 1. Whereas per the TPD report, the weekday midday peak period is 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and evening from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday midday from 2 to 3 p.m. So there is an inconsistency between these two documents, the statement of facts and the traffic report. At the last hearing, the board had asked for more clarity regarding the connection between the high pedestrian customers arriving by, high number of pedestrians arriving by foot. And while that may be so on a Saturday midday, the vehicle volume is very high for the weekdays. So a blanket statement like that is not applicable, and I believe the board at the last hearing had asked that be removed because it does not apply for the weekdays. Weekday, the volume of volume of vehicular parking is significantly more than 20% pedestrian arrival. So finding B needs to be modified. Overall, as I stated at the last hearing, it needs to be elaborated. It needs to clarify the operations, such as that there is no breakfast being served, state the peak periods, peak drive-through volumes, and need to discuss the result of the queuing analysis. Also, the applicant did not respond to why the first Raising Cane approval that was granted by the board back in 2024, located on Merrick Boulevard and Francis Lewis Boulevard, was not used, and whereas a location in Ohio is being used for this analysis. Those are my comments, as it seems like some of our earlier comments have not been responded to. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to add that the photograph that you're referring to that showed the barbed wire was dated, well, you see, it says that the photographs were taken on February 5th of 2026.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the statement of facts was, the cover letter was drafted on February 20th of 2026, is from what I understand.
Okay.
So I like them to clarify, but I just wanted to add that into that perhaps this isn't a misstatement, but it deserves a clarification.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I have no additional comment.
Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. Nothing further from me.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I didn't have any comments, but in response to some of your comments, Chair, I just wanted to go through the plan because I had looked to see if they had responded to some of our past comments, and they did dimension the reservoir spaces as 20 feet typical, which is even greater than what we typically require. And then they had added some respect your neighbors signs in
Right.
addition to what they had before. And then the sound barrier wall, they refer to sheet BSA 016.
Okay.
And here on that drawing, they state that it'll have a minimum STC of 28, and then it shows this kind of fake cobblestone
Okay.
panel.
Okay, that's what they mean by panel.
Yeah, so I thought that this was satisfactory because they referred to a drawing that will be in the set that gets approved.
Okay.
I didn't have any comments myself.
Okay,
Thank
that
you.
is helpful. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
This concludes the review session for March 10th, 2026. We'll resume at, it's 11:34,
45?
11:45. Resume, ladies and gentlemen, 11:45.
And needle.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh,
right.
Stu Leonard's.
Vice Chair and Commissioner Otley Brown, move the mic back and forth when you speak and make sure you speak into the mic and you move the mic over.
Okay, good morning again.
Thanks.
Ms. Matias, we are live, we are streaming. You may proceed with today's public hearing.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for March 10th, 2026. We'll begin with the zoning calendar, continued hearing items. Item number 9, 2023, 11BZ, 1008 Banner Avenue, Brooklyn. Noreen, there we go.
Morning, everyone.
Is there anyone else?
Anyone else with you, Jay? Mr.
No,
Goldstein?
that's me. It's all right.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Jay Goldstein on behalf of the applicants. We listened to the review session and we heard the board's comments and questions and concerns. We'll work with staff to update and create a restrictive declaration as well as to document on the plans, striping as well as dimensions of that area within the driveway to ensure that there's adequate spacing for the stairs as well as the cars to ingress and egress. And we'll put a note saying that no parking during certain hours. We already have a note saying no parking during arrival and dismissal, but we can update that to specific hours. And we'll continue to work with staff to make sure the plans and all the associated documents are in final form.
Okay. Any other comments or suggestions, Commissioner Yoon, that you want to see? This would be,
I think, no, he responded to everything, just that the notes for no parking during those hours is actually also a sign that would be physically
fine.
posted. Yeah.
That's fine.
okay.
Mr. Goldstein, can I talk?
Yes.
Do you have an idea whether the ground?
Mr. Commissioner. No, I mean, move it towards you so that. Thank
Also,
you.
Commissioner, I don't think your camera's on.
Yeah, your camera's on.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my video's off. Yeah. you're right.
Commissioner, I heard your comment with regard to structural stability and we'll confirm with the engineer.
Do you know whether the ground floor slab is a structural slab or just a slab and grade?
I'm not sure. I can follow up and find out.
If it's
But
a
We'll,
slab and grade, please. So
we'll
to-
confirm with them and the engineer will confirm that it's
because
structurally.
This is like, the difference is like 4 feet. 4 feet is kind of like, it's
Yeah.
significant.
Okay.
So please talk to him. Thank you.
Will do.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
Angela has her hand up.
Oh, Ms. Prenga, you have your hand up?
I just want you to confirm the parking requirement here. You had 7 in the zoning analysis form. Is that correct?
I'll confirm.
Working. Okay. Now go to the public.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the public.
Okay. We're gonna go to the public. The case that we're currently discussing is 2023-11BZ, 1008 Banner Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay. Why,
You wish-
go ahead.
If once you, if you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the Weber ID number 160-727-5297 and press the pound sign. Once you are permitted in, you press the pound sign only at the next prompt. I apologize. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, will you please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application. Okay, that's right.
So, I think the conditions that I am going to recommend now, and I want to hear from the commissioners on this, the conditions I'm thinking of would be that there shall be no vehicular drop-off and pickup of students along Banner Avenue. No vehicles shall park within the garage area during drop-off and pickup, other than vehicles dropping and picking up, that is. Curb cuts along, and this is where the hours that you're proposing will be included. Curb cuts along Guider Avenue will only be used for ingress of vehicles for access to driveway space, and curb cuts along Banner will only be used for egress of vehicles. Students dropped off during arrival by private vehicles will be met by staff at the car, and staff will then escort the students into the building. The building entrance on Guider Avenue as the primary entrance will be the primary entrance for the students and caregivers, and the entrance at Banner will be used only for emergency purposes and for staff. Student drop-off during arrival by, the whole detail of the staff pickup. There shall be a school loading zone along Guider Avenue from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and the school zone location and signage are subject to DOT approval and implementation. E-designation, that's condition. The project will include electric heating and hot water system, needs to meet the Appendix G. The rooftop play area will be set back 21 feet from 1014 Banner Avenue. A 10-foot high steel post frame with an acoustical barrier is required along the rooftop play area and associated requirements that are there in the drawings. The building will require 31 dBA window wall attenuation and alternate means of ventilation. And HVAC shall comply with all the applicable DOB and other relevant agency requirements. And those are some of the conditions.
Restrictive deck.
Of course, and these also will be carried out in the restrictive deck. The statement, the operational plan will be in the restrictive deck. The flood zone evacuation should be in the restrictive deck, and each one of the associated drawings reflecting the locations, all of those also should be included in the restrictive deck.
Would you like to include a closed window condition?
That's the alternate, that I call it the closed, alternate means of ventilation.
Got it.
That's the,
Is it possible if we add to the plans a note regarding of the standard note for the flood? Add it on the plans.
I think it's already there. If not, it should be added.
Okay.
Thank you.
Joe, 5 minutes.
I haven't seen it, but.
Joe, let's stand it back up.
Yes, Ms. Prenger?
I just want to correct what I said earlier. There is no parking requirement here because this is a use group 3B. Parking requirement G, and there's no parking requirement for that in 3621, and the applicant has that correctly shown on their plans. So
Okay.
just wanted to correct myself. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. If everybody's satisfied with those sets of conditions and the additional things that's going to come out of the flood evacuation and the school safety, can I make a recommendation to close it, keeping the record open for the applicant to submit the revised plan, statement of facts, flood evacuation revision, operational plan, and the restrictive deck with all the associated information? Yep.
Okay, motion to close, Chair Shanda,
Okay, aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you.
And I think you will need some time to do this correctly.
Right.
So we should schedule this for April
That's fine.
and coordinate with our project manager and council, especially with regards to the restrictive deck. We want to review the restrictive deck before we decide on it. Without the draft review, without the review of the restrictive deck, the board cannot take a decision.
Understood. We'll work with staff on this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
very much, everyone. Bye.
Item number 10, 2024-38BZ, 90-17, 179th Street, Queens. This is Elise Fullader.
Anyone else from your team, Ms. Fullader?
No one will be with me.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Elise Fullader from Eric Palatnik PC. Thank you so much for having us. We heard your comments. The one comment that was outstanding that I heard about the building distance. Since sometimes open data, obviously, in real life aren't the same, I would like someone to go out and just give it a check to confirm it. So if I could just get back to you that one statement in writing, want someone to go out and look what the truth is.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently reviewing, is 2024-38 BZ 90-17, 179th Street, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-727-5297 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand on the bottom of the computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
I don't think that discovery should change anything in the plan. A cover letter should be sufficient.
No problem.
And I will recommend that we close it and schedule it for decision in April.
No problem.
So, one.
Hmm?
No, I thought,
April
Confused.
13th, 14th.
no, I was confusing 2 cases. I was looking at my notes to make sure we didn't miss anything. Sorry. Okay. Motion to close? Chair,
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Are you okay? Yeah.
Motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
And this is for April.
Yes. Thank you.
Item number 2025-06 BZ, 8802 Northern Boulevard, Queens. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Wait, more
Oops.
people.
Someone else?
Alfredo, he's the architect.
Oh, his hand didn't come up. That's why I'm sorry.
Anyone else?
And then David Noor is the owner if he's around.
David Noor?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's
Okay.
Okay.
David Noor is the owner of the Popeye.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. Just one afternoon, good afternoon.
Put your camera on.
Do you have a camera, Alfredo? Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Everyone raise their hands, right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Okay. Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session. Whoever's the lead.
Elise Fullader from Eric Palatnik PC. I'm here with Alfredo, who did the plans, and David is the owner. I'm going to just go through the comments and then I'll turn to Alfredo for his part. I just want to first say that Alfredo is the architect. He's not, we sent all civil engineering to other people out. So I will send Commissioner Yoon's comment about the to scale acoustical drawing to the engineer. It was not Alfredo who did it. It was another engineer because that is an engineering job. So appreciate your comment. I will send it to him. And he'll watch it. Next is, these are easy comments, so Alfredo can add, but he can dimension the ADA. It's more than 3 feet, it's 4 feet. And then he also want to make sure that the car length is actually shown on the drawing. So wanted to make sure that we could that works for everyone. It says 18.
Okay.
So, didn't want to clutter up the plans. And then I guess the biggest question is obviously about the acoustical fence. So I'm going to turn to Alfredo because we've had many conversations about it. And I also want to apologize if I was unclear. Different plans made it a little unclear. It's 10 foot total. It was 3 feet and then 7 feet for the fence, but 3 feet for the wall, 7 feet for the fence. And in a subsequent submission, whatever we decide, will be clearer. Alfredo, to you.
Okay, so basically, my understanding is that you wanted to satisfy the acoustical breadth of the noise from the enunciator, which incidentally is adjustable. That enunciator is adjustable, so the volume can be turned down. However, we did add, according to what I understood, we increased the height of the fence, which has an acoustical mat on there, from 4 to 7 feet, which creates structural problems because it requires lateral bracing now. And it also, we're not sure about whether the brick wall below that, how far the fence went into that wall. Perhaps the fence pole would have to go further in order to support it. So that creates a financial and a structural problem. But we did show it to you because you asked for it.
So what is there currently?
It's a 3 foot high wall and a 4 foot 3 inch high fence with acoustical mat.
And apologies for making this confusing. It was just there was different information flying around.
So that's a total of 7 foot high.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So that's definitely not adequate. It needs to, as it is, we're questioning the 10-foot high wall because of the proximity of the existing residential building and the window, and that the proposed hours of operations are going to extend beyond 9 p.m. when the ambient noise level. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Just wait.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I hope you're okay. I was going to say that whatever we decide, I'll write back to the community board, but the point of that was that comment about the 9 p.m. was before that limiter technology was out, which we explained to the board at the community board, we explained it to them. And I guess it's confusing is now there's menu boards, with that, what?
Can you explain to us what was explained to the community board?
Yeah, so that HME white paper we give you that explains how a limiter works.
Okay.
So we try to explain that to the board about how menu boards used to they couldn't control volume. There was no limiter on it a long time ago, because that comment kept being taken over and over again from a comment that was like decades old about how the menu board was too loud, and that technology has changed. So that we try to explain to the board that it has this AVC limiter on it because it's a new board.
It doesn't, looking at the previously approved drawings, the minimal output is about 78 dBA. And if you look at the current one, the output is 73. So the difference is not that significant.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not from the last one. That comment was taken from a few times. If you look at the resolutions, that comment was just put back in numerous times.
Right, but it still doesn't answer the question that we specifically have asked, and clarification from the board is was the board, community board informed of the proposed change in? the
Yeah, we
hours?
asked them to make it longer hours and we told them that it'll have the menu.
That's what
board.
their recommendation states. That's why I'm confused, because the current
Well,
community.
because
board-
they wanted to make sure that the limiter was like, there was confusion at the community board though, too, what we were trying to explain. So that's why I will write another letter to them. But we tried to explain to them that we want to be open longer, but we'll make sure that the limiter is on the menu board.
So explain to us then, with the limiter being on all throughout the day, because we asked that the ABC be on all throughout the day. And if it is going to be on during the hours of those operations, why is then the sound attenuation level that is shown, it is still at a higher level, which can be, especially during after hours of 9 p.m. can be as this ambient noise level reduces, it can result in a more increased volume because of even with the AVC on.
I guess I have to, we did that noise thing after we met with the community board, so, or the noise study, so I guess I will have to speak with the engineer that did it to talk about how the noise is controlled through the AVC limiter.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, I really can guess why that, in the current submission, why the level is higher than the previous one. I believe that the difference is in the previous one, they did the propagation on a diagonal line, so the distance is more. On the current one, although the dBA is kind of like slightly less, the distance, they took the perpendicular distance, which is less, and that's why when you hit the fence, that the level is kind of like higher. If the board is willing to accept.
But if we change the fence, I'll have to tell the community board anyway, whatever we're doing, so.
If we're willing to accept the diagonal, since the propagation, if you want to take it to the window and go on the diagonal, I believe the current height is barely sufficient, which is 70 plus 3. But if you take it perpendicularly and look at where it crosses the property line, I mean, they need to stick with the 10 feet proposed. And I acknowledge that going to 10 feet it's kind of a structural dilemma for them, because if the wheel is not able to take that kind of load, they'll have to provide either additional posts or provide diagonal bracing for that acoustical fence, because 7 feet plus 10 feet of wind load is kind of like, it's not a joke.
Okay. So if I understand it, it seems because of the way the diagram has been shown, it's showing a perpendicular cross section, which shows a lesser distance than actually shown on the plan, which is showing a distance of 41 feet from the menu board to the window, as opposed to the perpendicular distance, which is about 23 feet. So if you go by the diagonal distance from the menu board to the nearest sensitive receptor, which is about 41 feet, then a 10-foot high acoustical wall should be sufficient to address the noise propagation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner.
Plus 3 would be okay.
Right.
Yeah, if you go on the diagonal.
On the diagonal, so
Yeah.
10-foot high, total
Yeah.
of 10.
And by the way, whichever way we go, we look at the window itself, we look at where it crosses the
Right.
fence.
Okay, so 10-foot high is what we are asking for, and as Commissioner Sheta and as Mr. Fredericks mentioned that though in the plan it is shown, you're not confident that structurally the wall will be able to take that load. So it's up to you. Your decision, it's your project, and you have to decide what you want to pick. If you want the 12 p.m. hours of operation, provide a 10-foot high acoustical wall that works and is structurally sound. If you cannot provide that, then stick to 9 PM.
Okay.
Or redo the sound analysis on the diagonal in the current submission and prove it to us that at the fence, it's not gonna be more than the ambient.
That's a third option.
Yeah, and if it works,
But
I would accept the existing condition of the fence as is.
I just want to note, this is also in the previously approved plan, so if we were to rely on this, we would need something updated in the current set.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and update the current plan to show the diagonal sound attenuation in the way that was done in the previous one.
Okay. So David, do you have any questions? Are you clear about that?
No, it's clear what the expectation is. I think we just have to understand from a structural perspective. I can connect with Mr. Alfredo offline and just see what that would look like and what that would entail.
Okay. And we'll ask no matter what though, we'll ask the acoustical engineer to show it on a diag.
Correct.
At the previous submission, sure if this is the exact location of the first window that's gonna be hit.
Yeah,
So take the like that as close as possible. The first window that's gonna be hit from that mini board. Take that. The window I'm looking at right now. Not sure if this is the first one or not. So
a little hard to hear all the words that are, can you repeat that?
let me show my screen and explain.
Sorry. Is anyone else struggling to hear what he's saying?
I think we are here, so we are not having the.
Yeah, it's a little blurry on the
Okay, so
Zoom.
the thing is, you see that this line here, this.
Yeah,
Position of the window, I'm not sure if this is the correct location that should be considered. If you have at the edge here, the distance will be shorter. So take the shortest path to the closest window. This is for that.
We're still having
If
issues
the
hearing you,
analysis reveals that this is okay,
Commissioner.
existing condition, we'll take that. Personally take it.
We can't hear you. It was very difficult to hear Commissioner Sheta.
Commissioner Shida, there's something,
Microphone.
I don't know if you're too close to the microphone. It's
That's not better if you were asking that. Nah, it's not good. I'm sorry.
Something is wrong with the microphone.
Like it's sunk in.
Oh,
It's working.
That's good.
Maybe,
Is that okay?
maybe it's picking up.
It's better.
So this line here,
No.
is to this window. If you are at the edge here, please take it from the.
We really can't. I'm sorry, we really
Can you hear
can't.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, what he's saying is that verify the closest window to the menu board and do the analysis based on the actual closest window. This is a drawing from the previously approved plan, so I think, and you can say yes or no if you agree, but he's saying, go out there and make sure that you're analyzing this based on the actual closest sensitive receptor, which would be the closest window to the menu board.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, Carla's gonna come too.
yeah, I
Because
think,
before we couldn't hear you, now it's like, now it was okay, then it's back to miss.
I think something is wrong with that.
Should I
Or-
switch my mic with like one of these?
I think he's gonna try.
All right.
I can.
Any other question? But again, if you come to if your analysis shows
I don't think you pull that.
that there would be an issue with the noise, then it's a business decision you need to make is, do you want to change the fence to a much more robust, sound attenuated, 10-foot high wall to allow for a midnight run, or stick to 9 PM and what you have?
understood. And whatever we do, we'll write it to the community board, what has changed
Yes.
since the existing, and tell them how we're making it, because no matter what, we're making it more robust
R-
than what exists there today.
Well, if you provide a new wall, it will be more robust regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I'll let them know that no matter what, their comment was heard and that we're addressing it.
Yeah, okay. And please do know that any submission you make here is always, you're sending a submission to the community board also, right? It's kind of an.
Oh, yeah. But
Unsaid.
sometimes people don't read or see things, honestly. So when I send something specifically to the community board, I call them up, make sure they saw it.
Commissioner Shedder, do you want to test the microphone before you?
Did you test it? We can't hear anything.
Oh, no.
Can you press is it on?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Is that done?
Okay. We'll take a 5-minute break and do this test. I don't think it's fair to the applicants right now. So let's go to the public right now.
Okay. What's it doing all of a sudden? We just moved one.
It's not the microphone. Here.
It's the body. Yeah.
It's the box that is not working.
Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 2025-06BZ, 88-02 Northern Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160-727-5297 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you recognize, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
Okay.
How much time do you need, Ms. Holiday?
I guess that depends on our conversation about the fence. So David, I'm sorry, I'm deferring to you because how much time do you think you need to make a decision about the fence?
Maybe the week at most.
Okay, so after that, I would say we probably need another week to put ourselves together. So whatever works in that time frame on your calendar.
Well, it's definitely, we cannot schedule this for March 23rd. So it would either be, it would be one of the April hearings, April 13th or April 27th, that 27th, 28th or April 13th or 14th.
Can we get back to you on what date works?
Sure.
Or the project manager?
Sure. Yes. Yes, I know you'll be away.
Yeah, I have to talk to Eric.
Okay, nobody,
No, nobody
hands.
raised their
Okay.
hand. Okay.
okay. Okay, April.
Okay.
Do you want me to give the next case or you gonna?
Yeah, thank you. Next case, please.
Okay. Item number 12, 2025-23BZ, 16161 Baisley Boulevard, Queens. Raise your right hand. Do you have anyone else with you?
Yes. Alfredo, you're allowed to go, just letting you know.
Thank you.
And then
Cedric.
David should stay, and then Dinah should be with us.
Dinah Claremont.
Yeah.
Claremont.
We have two Dianas.
Claremont.
No, we got her.
You got her?
Oh, you got it? Okay.
That it?
Yes.
Okay, raise your right hands. Is she in yet? I'm sorry.
Yeah. There she is. Hi.
Thank you. Okay, raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Do.
I do.
I do.
Please state your name for the record and respond to the board and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session. Ms. Fullader?
Thank you. Elise Holader from Eric Polanic PC. Thank you so much. We heard your comments. I have David here from Popeyes and Dinah, the architect. I also wanted to point out that, Dinah got a new camera just so she could look stunning on this call. So we have her here today because we struggled before. So I just want to point out Dinah's with us today with a new camera.
We appreciate that.
Give her the credit she deserves. So we can go through the comments. I think we should share the plans, Dinah. I don't know if you'd prefer it to be me or you, whatever you think is easy.
If you have them handy, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. Hold on one second. And then we could talk about the signage. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna bring up the ones with the clouds. Oh, okay. There they are. Okay, can everyone see that? Well, even though it's small, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I would just stay on the first sheet if you can for a moment.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna turn to you about the signage because we went through it and you can point out, and I'll circle with my mouse key anything you tell me to point out.
Okay, the comment was that the signage from Z12 is not keyed into the plan. It is not keyed in, but we basically listed the signage analysis on the zoning analysis sheet. However, we will add an extra chart keying it in. That's not a problem.
And the sign analysis is really for this case, only for the subject's site. Even though we're looking at the entire zoning lot,
Mhm.
the operation for which the drive-through part is. So just keep that in mind.
Very good. Just the numbers for the drive-through. Okay, I will keep that in mind and adjust it if necessary.
Yeah, the drive-through and the Popeyes, the space, yeah.
Okay. Then you were asking to clarify the internal comment for the internal sign. That just meant internally illuminated.
Okay, so it's not a sign that's outside, it's inside the building that,
No, it's the illumination is on, the sign is outside the building, but it's not, it's lit up from within the sign. It's a internally lit up sign. So
so it's an illuminated sign.
exactly.
Okay, so it should be accounted towards that.
Right, for the analysis. And then well, the chart for the total by street, we will add the streets instead of just north, south, east, west, we'll add Guy Brewer and Baisley. And we will also add the note that the board is not waiving any signage requirements.
Right.
I think that's
And
all.
please add a note saying that BSA is not waiving any of the signage requirements and it shall be reviewed by DOB and approved.
Okay, reviewed and approved by DOB.
Yeah.
And then do you want us, because we're on the site plan, the material of the fence you said is there, maybe we can point that out on.
Oh, well, yes, if you can zoom in, are you on Z002? Okay, see the red cloud on the top of the page? Zoom in and it says, it actually says how many lineal feet of what kind of fence and what color. So we did break that down, but you have to zoom in a little bit more if you can. Okay, so you have a 6-foot high black aluminum fence for 84 feet, 9.5 inches along the property line to the top of the page. Then as you turn the corner, you have the dimension with the acoustic fence on the angle, and then on the next angle, the 8-foot high sound attenuating fence and the dimension, the 55 feet of that. And then finally, coming forward towards Guy Brewer, we have the 85 feet and change 6-foot black aluminum fence. So there, it's labeled like that. And then on the same site plan, we have the 4-foot aluminum fence and the 6-foot aluminum fence and the 8-foot aluminum fence. So if you, that's all on Z002 for what they look like. Does that clarify your concern?
Yeah, I was satisfied with that note.
Okay.
And then we can add whatever Tracy tells us to add for environmental comments. We can put those notes on the plans. About
the question that Commissioner Yoon had was that the egress from the commercial
yeah, we didn't get up to that comment. Sorry.
Okay.
I was just trying to do the easy stuff first.
Right. We're going to add the vapor barrier note per the EAS, and the motor vehicles will not encroach back into the road. And
then the last comment Dinah, I guess I can turn to you. She was saying, sorry, I cut you off, Chair. I wasn't meaning to, about the sidewalk and entering from the back for traffic.
Okay, yes, we understand the comment and why you said the comment. The reason that we have it exiting onto Baisley Boulevard, the second means of egress, if you go to the floor plan version, you don't really have to, but if you go to the first floor, one more, please. One more, there you go. Right now, the way that the operation works is, they like to have the door, the second means of egress by the drive-through window, which it's located now on Baisley Boulevard. Then they prefer that going out onto the sidewalk versus exiting behind the cooler or having to travel through the path to the gate to get to the drive-through and then get to the trash enclosure. So it was simplified version to get the trash out of the building into the trash enclosure by exiting to Baisley.
Ms. Clemart, you don't come before the board very often, so, and Ms. Fullader does. So I don't want to sound repetitive, but the trash, when we review these projects, we also want to ensure that the trash generated from this business model is also contained within the site and it's not impacting the sidewalk. What you're proposing would require, and again, from what you're proposing will require a full-blown operational plan in terms of how the trash is going to be collected and where is it going to be stored within the site. Because
Well, they're still walking out and taking it to the trash area. They just were walking around.
But you'll be walking around through the drive-through. And there is no space to do that while you have the drive-through and you're walking around. And the hours of operation, at the last hearing you had said it's from 10:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. So is the trash going to be removed after that and you're going to take it through the drive-through and around? And how is it going to be taken? Are you just putting them in a cart, trash bin and carrying it over, or are you dragging the bags over through the sidewalk and through the driveway back there? These are just very standard questions that we always ask for such operation and even for schools. Very similar. We really do not want this operation to start becoming a nuisance when it comes to moving trash from the subject site for pickup and it becoming a nuisance for the city sidewalks or even being a nuisance for the rest of the operation within the site. So keep that in mind as you're considering this option.
I think, Dinah, you can speak on that more. She has other ways
yes.
to do it if we need to. We were just trying to explain to you why we designed it that way.
I understand that, but all I'm saying that this raises this question.
Yeah.
Understood. What we can do is we can add a third door. We'll rotate the cooler, we'll notch out a space out of the 10 and 2 and move their door over, and we'll have everybody exit through the same path to the trash enclosure.
Yeah, you have the possibility of doing that.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that too. We were just trying to explain to you why we chose it.
Popeyes wanted,
Yeah,
right.
why Popeyes wanted it like that, but we can make changes.
Yeah.
That's no
okay.
problem.
So we'll revise the plans. Thank you for the explanation, but not accepted.
Okay. I think that's all I have, Elise.
Yeah, so if everybody's amenable or whatever, just so we can not keep doing hearings after hearings, whatever works for you. She's going to notch it out in the back and do a vestibule, so they'll also be able to use the same path.
And especially right now, the building is not built, so you have the flexibility to make some revisions to the layout, the entire layout, without affecting any of these other existing, proposed commercial floor plates.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just letting you know we're agreeing to that, no problem.
Okay.
So we can,
okay.
tie things up.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I don't think there, let me look.
And again, you please do confirm the hours of operation. I
They're
don't,
in on the second page of the statement of facts, but I'll write them again in the cover letter.
okay, it is there in the statement of facts. Okay, I
It's
missed.
just, there's a lot in the statement of facts, but it is noted. I checked in the most up to date.
Okay. Anything else for the team? Okay, let's go to the public.
Stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
That's it.
There you go.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2025-23 BZ 16161 Baisley Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, sorry, at the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160. Thank you. 160-727-5297 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. If you're calling in on the phone, and if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on the application.
Commissioners, are you okay with closing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to also note, I'm just going to send a few more comments to finalize the EAS like I usually do. Nothing substantive. We do like in these types of applications to have the noise diagram from the other part of the application in the EAS. I know seeker doesn't specifically look at, this type of noise with the diagram, but because we want to address all noise, I would like that in there as well. So, thanks.
Okay, no hands, no.
All right. I'm going to make a motion to close with the record open to revise the drawings and the statement and EAS.
Okay, motion to close. Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown, Commissioner Sheta, Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, and Ms. Folletta, you will work with the project manager regarding the decision date. It will be one of the Aprils or
No problem.
more probably the latter part of April.
Sounds good. And I'm sure you'll have a submission by the end of March.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 13, 2025-27 BZ 3657 Kingsbridge Avenue, the Bronx.
Jennifer Mazaway and Bodine.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is Ms. Bodine joining us?
Yes, we should have Ms. Bodine.
Apologies.
Mr. Shikowski.
And Ethan. Shikowski. Okay.
And I believe Melissa Bracho. Thank you.
Hey, everybody is there. Where is Ethan?
He's there. I just don't see him in this picture. There he is.
Okay.
Is it Ethan Shilsky? Okay. Everyone, could you unmute Mr. Rush? I can't pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. Thank you. Raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Okay, whoever's the lead, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jennifer Mazawey, Mazawey, with the law firm of K&L Gates on behalf of Raising Cane's. We were present this morning during review session and listened to the comments of board members, and I have a few responses and then maybe one or two questions as well. And if okay, I'm going to share my screen to share the plans. So if everybody can see that, I'll start with the chair's first comment, which had to do with this drawing. It was sheet 24. She had indicated for us to include a note regarding the proposed sound barrier, and I just wanted to point out that there is the note here, and to ask if that responded to her concern.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, I guess I was looking at them separately. Okay. All in a group. Thank you.
Okay, and then proceeding upwards to sheet 4. Okay, so this is the proposed signage schedule, and I know the chair had some questions on this as well. And we do have the amount, we have the total square footage per frontage noted in our chart, as well as the illuminated and non-illuminated in the chart as well. So again, a question as to whether or not this responds to your comment, Chair.
Right, so, and so I just want to make sure that these totals that are shown, how do I know what, which one is adding up to? Like, if you're saying 32 square foot is adding up for the maximum illuminated from 238, which ones are then on?
Okay, so we have the signage requirements chart here, and then we have the proposed signage schedule below. And so you would look here to the street frontage, West 238th Street,
Okay.
and these two signs would equal that 32 square feet.
Okay, all right.
And
Convoluted, but the information is there. But going forward, please, it would be much easier to compile those two and okay.
okay, and then I want to move to sheet 21. Sheet 21 is the detail for the dumpster enclosure. And just to point out, there is a section on the dumpster, it's section 2, which does indicate the height at,
The height is of the gate. It says dumpster gate height,
yes.
which is not the same as the wall height.
To the right, Jennifer, if you just pan.
Pan to the right?
Yeah, there's an elevation from top of the curb and then top of slab to the top of the finishing.
Okay,
So
that's
we can do an overall dimension if that would be helpful.
Simplified. That's a lot of analysis. Simplify it and just indicate the total height of the wall on the plans.
Okay.
And on the sections, yeah.
Okay. We will add a note on the sign that the BSA is not waiving any sign regulations, and that it will be reviewed by the building department.
Yeah.
Chair also had a question or a comment with regard to the floor area and the FAR, and I would ask for clarification. I wasn't quite sure what it is that you needed us to do vis-a-vis the plans with regard to that comment.
It wasn't in the plan, indicated in the bulk regulation. Okay, disregard that. And if I meant to review it between the break, I didn't. So disregard it. If I get back, if I find out what it is, I will have the project manager let you know.
Okay,
Okay?
that would be great. Thank you. Yes. With regard to the statement of facts, we will add the line busting procedures. And we will also add into the air quality analysis for finding D.
Right.
That's not an issue. We will do that. And then Commissioner Otley Brown had a question with regard to the landscaping. And I will just go to sheet. One moment, I'll find that sheet.
It's sheet 9, I believe, the one with
Sheet
the
9, thank you, thank you.
What did I do?
Just get to sheet 9.
What did I?
Oops, here we go. Which shows the section for the landscaping and the rationale for why there is a thinner band of landscaping proposed along the southern line because we don't have the room. And you can see in section B. And just to provide an explanation as to why we're unable to provide that same arborvitae treatment on the southern line as we are along the other property line.
Okay.
And I think that's all the comments from the commissioners.
I know what I was referring to. So if you go to drawing sheet 003,
Okay.
the chart that says bulk requirements.
Give me one moment, I'll get there. Yes.
And in that, it says the maximum FAR permitted versus proposed.
Yes.
All I wanted was, in addition to that, translate that to the floor area. Just, if possible, add another row which says maximum floor area. And that is what is the maximum floor area permitted, and below that, the proposed floor area. That's all.
I see. And so instead of a ratio, you'd also, or in addition to a ratio, you'd like another line that gives actual square footage.
Right. You could do it both ways. You can keep the same area and put a slash, like maximum FAR slash floor area, and you have the permitted is 2 FAR slash whatever that equivalent floor area is, and proposed 0.16 slash what is the proposed floor area. That's all.
Okay.
It would be one way, or the other could be just another row, whichever one is easier.
Absolutely. That's not a problem.
Okay.
And then I did notice there was one other comment, which was from Commissioner Yoon, and it had to do with the hours of operation, and she was, or you are all correct. At our last hearing, we agreed that it would be hours of operation for the drive-through would be until midnight, Monday through Thursday, and until 2 a.m. on the weekends.
Sorry, can I just clarify? My notes specifically state from the last meeting that drive-through hours would be 9:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then 9:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, just to clarify.
Okay. Hold on. What was? Do you have anything? What do you have?
I have midnight, till midnight, Sunday to Thursday, until 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday. I think this was a compromise that
Yeah,
we had.
we went back and forth.
And I misstated it earlier, I think, for Monday to Thursday as opposed to Sunday to Thursday. So the clarification, I think we're all in agreement with, it sounds like.
Okay. So it's Monday through Friday.
Sunday through Thursday.
Okay.
Sunday through Thursday until midnight. And Friday and Saturday until 2
a.m.
And what is the starting hour?
9:30 a.m.
9:30, okay. 9:30 a.m. till midnight and 9:30 a.m. till 2 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So we're hopeful that with those changes, the board might see fit to close the hearing at this point.
We unfortunately cannot because the omission on the air quality, that is one of the findings that has to be met. And we have not reviewed that finding.
Okay. Would the board consider if that finding were to be submitted between now and the board's next meeting, could they close and make a decision on the
Close
same
and vote
hearing
on the
date?
same day. We don't close and vote on the same day, but we will, if you provide a document that has all the complete set of information, we will close it and schedule it at the earliest possible decision. We will
Thank
do
you.
that. So you have to let us know when can you make this submission? Our March calendar, the next March calendar is quite full. So, if you do April 13th, we can vote it out for April, the second April hearing. We can do that.
So April 13th to review the changes and then assuming all goes well, April 27th.
The decision decision can be calendar provided everything has been met would be April 27, 28.
I'm certain we can meet those deadlines. That will not be a problem.
Yeah, April 13th submission deadline is March 26th.
That won't be a problem.
Confirmed.
Go to the public.
Yeah, let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2025-27 BZ 3657 Kingsbridge Avenue, the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the WebEx ID number 160-727-5297 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes. I was gonna say she has the case after this. I was gonna say move her, but never mind. No, it's not fair. Okay, I don't see anyone raise their hand or call in.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we go back into the gallery, correct? Until we're recalled?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 14, 2025-40 BZ, 2800 Bruckner Boulevard, the Bronx. It's by Amber Baton. Probably Amber Cartolin, Richard
Cartillo.
Arslan. Right. Richard Arslan.
Good afternoon, board. I think we also need to admit Everin and Stephen. Everin Ozol and Stephen Grasso.
Evren and?
And Stephen Grasso.
Okay. Okay.
Our team is here.
This.
Do we need to be sworn in?
Everin is not,
Oh, it's not in yet.
Stephen Grasso, okay.
Yes.
Where's Everin? His hand is up, but picture.
I just saw him. I think there are a lot of people in the Zoom. Steven's on and Everin's on. Yes.
Yeah, could you unmute? Where's the other guy? Everin.
He's there. I see him.
He's on page 2 of the Zoom.
Oh. There we go. Hello. Alrighty, everyone here?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone on mute, raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, wherever is the lead, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
All right, good afternoon, Faye Baton from Shell and Lobel PC. I'm joined with the applicant team to discuss today's reviews, to respond to comments from today's review session. I think we'd like to start to discuss the acoustic fence and sound mitigation. So I'm going to turn it over to Amber and Stephen to discuss noise mitigation.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Amber Cartalian with GZA Geoenvironmental. I listened to the review session comments. So related to noise, you know, as stated at the last hearing, you know, under seeker, we otherwise wouldn't be required to have any noise attenuation because there's no outdoor play areas. That said, I know Richard from the school, you know, he wants to be a good neighbor, and he takes, you know, the noise concerns seriously. So the combination of the inoperable windows in concert with the acoustic fence was essentially, you know, a redundant measure in an abundance of caution. You know, so the inoperable windows are already, you know, serving the purpose of ensuring that there would be, you know, no noise impact on the residential receptors to the rear. In regards to the potential of doing a solid masonry wall at the rear, I just want to state that, you know, acoustic fence, it has different properties than a solid masonry wall. So, you know, unlike a masonry barrier, which primarily would reflect sound, the acoustic fence is absorptive. So it helps reduce the sound reflection and reverberation. And it's particularly effective in reducing those low to mid frequency sounds that are typical of a human voice. Which would be the case here, in contrast with a solid masonry wall, which would potentially, you know, reflect and redirect sound depending on the geometry and the surrounding surfaces. And then with regard to just the acoustic fence life cycle, you know, it is a UV resistant, water impervious, mold resistant membrane, and it is designed for long-term outdoor applications. You know, based on manufacturer data and comparable installations, we typically see an expected, you know, expected service of life of about 15 to 20 years for inland environments, such as the project area where exposure to salt and high humidity is limited. And that said, I know that Mr. Arslan is committed to, you know, doing intermittent inspections of the panels and ensuring that the acoustic fence is replaced, which would be visually apparent because typically you would see that if it needs to be replaced, what would happen is it would, you know, fall off the chain link fences. So I just wanted to say that. And Stephen, if you have anything to add to that, please feel free.
The explanation was very helpful and thorough, and I'm okay with it.
Thank you.
With the existing condition as proposed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think the next comment was regarding the privacy screens and walls. The privacy screens being, I think the windows currently, and the architects could discuss this as well. The current windows are up to 5 feet 6 inches, so the applicant would ensure that the privacy film would be added up to 6 feet in height on the window. So this way, you know, the school would like natural light for their students. They would ensure that light comes in. So that was, we're fine. The school's fine making it up to 6 feet. Mr. Arslan, I don't know if you want to add on anything to that.
And I would say, as Commissioner Yoon said, you may not have to put that on the ground floor because.
Correct.
So it would be really for the second floor and the third floor.
Yes. I mean, that was exactly the point. Then some commissioners raised why we didn't do all the windows with films, translucent films. That was solely the purpose to let the natural light to come through as much possible. So we can assure that it will be installed up to 6 foot height so that that privacy is provided to the rear properties, definitely. It's also, you know, something that we pay attention to, you know, the safety and security of our surroundings and everybody around us. So that would be, you know, a major point that we will make sure of that.
Okay.
We could illustrate that on the plans as well to make sure that that's clear on the plans.
Yeah, yeah.
And on another note that I may just add about the multi-purpose room, yeah, I mean, our schools definitely have a robust athletic program. We have basketball and volleyball practices and teams. For that reason, the gym height needed for this space. We are installing this sports equipment and materials inside so that we can assure these programs can run effectively.
I think what I could just clarify what I was asking for is just for a brief description of that in the statement of facts, so it's very clear.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
we will
I'll add
provide the detail.
Yes, I'll add that. I think there's a question regarding the trash and storage. I'll note that the trash will be brought out by custodians on designated pickup days. Amber, I don't know if you wanted to add to that as well.
Sure, yeah. So specifically related to the perishable trash that would be held in the refrigerated refuse room. You know, we did a lot of discussions on this with Mr. Arslan, and that trash would be transferred to its designated container and brought out to the curb only on the days of the designated day of pickup for the perishable trash, which I believe is Friday, if I remember correctly.
Can I just add some on the trash plan? I thought that you were very thorough in your plan, and just in transparency, we are internally looking at what you know, we've had a lot of discussions about trash management on record and also off record, and I anyway thought that the plan that you proposed for this site seemed appropriate and very thought out, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Yoon. Yeah, I was aware that there was some discussions about the standard rates that were provided, so I tried to do my best to kind of look at all the data and put something forward that it made sense based on the data that was available.
Yeah, and it's up in the air, so I can't say we will accept all of that going forward, but I thought that your reasoning was very rational and it made a lot of sense.
Understood. Thank you, Commissioner Yoon.
All right, this is very helpful. Any other questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
I think we'll just add the note on the curb cut regarding the curb cut that it would be built pursuant to the builder's pavement plan that was requested from us.
Okay. The case we're currently discussing is 2025 40BZ 2800 Bruckner Boulevard, the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252 at the promptulant of the Weber ID number 160-727-5297 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application. Wow, it's a lot of people.
Right. I'm going to recommend that we close this unless we hear anything from the public or otherwise. I'm going to recommend we close it and keep the record open for you to make all the necessary changes to the plan and to the statement. Anything else that needs to be corrected? I think those are the only 2 documents that need to be corrected and updated. And we'll schedule this for April 13th decision.
We're still waiting on seeker for this.
Oh, okay, I forgot about that. So we need the secra. So, okay, that sets it. So we can close it. We'll keep the record open. And based on the secra outcome, if there are any additional conditions that DEP and school safety provides, that needs to be incorporated in the plan and the statement of facts. And so the date will be based on that.
Okay,
And we expect a submission for the detailed level of service and the detailed air quality probably in around a week or so.
Yeah. Okay, so the record is open for the EAS, for the plans and statement of facts.
Motion to close, Chair Shonda.
Motion to close, aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta.
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta. Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with the project managers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Item number 15, 2025-41 BZ 13802 Hillside Avenue, Queens.
Anyone else? Ms. Mazaway?
While my team is coming up, Chair, I just want to ask, are you getting feedback from my microphone? I believe perhaps on the King's Bridge, there was maybe some feedback happening?
No, actually.
Okay.
You were a little bit, but not now.
Okay, thank you. We were troubleshooting here in the in-between matter, so hopefully we're okay now. So I think we've got Ethan, we've got Rebecca, and we should have Melissa, and we'll be okay. Yes, we're ready, Chair.
Ethan is there. So who, Nicole is not there? From the previous, you have Ethan.
We have Melissa, Rebecca, Ethan, and we also have Diana coming up for this one.
Nicole covered the last hearing for TBD.
I'm
Covering it now. I couldn't make the last meeting.
okay.
Let me know when everybody's there.
We're here.
I don't see, she on the other one? You have Melissa, Diana, Jennifer, Rebecca, Ethan. I thought someone named Nicole was coming up.
No.
Oh, okay. All righty, raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond on these board member questions?
Do.
Whoever is the lead, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Thank you, board members. Jennifer Mazaway from K&L Gates on behalf of Raising Cane's. We were present this morning during comments. We have some responses, maybe a few questions as well. With regard to the objection that was received, is that it? I'd ask if that's a newer objection. We had received 2 objection letters previously, but it sounded like this perhaps is an additional one that we had not received.
2541. Let me check. I think it's a new one. We will share with you. The project manager should share the information with you. And
Great.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The board had a few of the same comments that it had for the Kingsbridge project that we were just speaking about. So we will include a simplified height of the trash enclosure on our detail sheet. The reservoir space was in fact dimensioned, and I believe Commissioner Yoon had mentioned that this morning. But just for the record, I'll share it is sheet 2, and you'll see that we have it dimensioned as 20 feet typical. With regard to the signage with respect to your neighbors, we have indicated that inclusion of those respect your neighbor signs. And we will add a note if we have not already, but with regard to the blocking of the sidewalk. I thought we had a note, but I will. Oh, and it is here. I believe we have under number 4 and number 5 bubbled here, 2 additional notes that we've added to the plans. This is on sheet 2. And hopefully that's sufficient for the board's concerns. With regard to comments about signs, we will, like we are doing on the Kingsbridge site, we'll provide perhaps a clearer or a compilation of the 2 details so that the signage calculations and their the street or frontage upon which they are located will be made clearer. With regard to questions about consistency between the peak hours that were contained in our statement of facts and those that were in the TPD report. The peak hours that were contained in our statement of facts are actually the Raising Cane's peak hours as in, however, in the TPD report, the peak hours that were demonstrated or shown were actually the adjoining, the local KFC peak hours. And that was part of TPD's analysis. So the peak hours of that were different in the TPD report are actually KFC's peak hours, not Raising Cane's. And so Ethan, I think you indicated that if the board desired, we could add a column to that chart to show Raising Cane's peak hours and the KFC's peak hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think, maybe some clarification here in that, Cane's provided some general area times of the day that they're busy, that 11:30 to 1:30, 4:30 to 7:30, just typical for any type of fast food restaurant. Whereas our study was focused solely on the local data from that neighboring restaurant. So it's a little more specific to maybe the traffic patterns in that area. So I don't know whether we should just clarify that.
I think it would then, my question is, you showed the analysis of the local peak period of KFC. And you're projecting and the peak hour of Raising Cane's is based on what you anticipate or what you have seen in other Raising Cane facilities?
Melissa might be able to answer this, but I think it's based on other Raising Cane's facilities. And I'll just also point out it's several hours, as opposed to the specific peak hour we were looking at. And Melissa, did you want to?
No, Ethan's correct. It's just a general, those are our general hours for peak operation. They do fluctuate depending on the day of the week, the volume of traffic, and specific locations. So unfortunately, we just don't have enough open restaurants with the drive-through use that we were able to pull actual data from that have been open for longer periods of time to be able to actually get that data. So if there's any type of clarification that is needed for this, just let us know how we could further detail that out, please.
Yeah, so then what is the purpose of showing the KFC peak period? Is that the market that you're trying to capture? If that's the market you're trying to capture, then wouldn't your peak and period be similar to what you're actually seeing in your competitors' area? Assuming if you're going to do business, you're going to do business to capture the most amount of audience, most amount of customers. And if your customer base is similar to the customer base that KFC draws, your peak may vary in this location compared to your standard Raising Cane peak period.
I think it's fair to say, you know, that the peak hours we found in the traffic study for the neighbor would be fairly consistent with the Raising Cane's. I mean, Melissa, do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree. I agree with what you're saying, Chairperson, regarding, you know, having that similar type of, you know, potential customer users. However, it is a different restaurant. It is, we do have different items. So I don't want to necessarily compare apples to apples when I would say that we're apples to oranges, but I understand where you're coming from.
So you're therefore saying that then why do the KFC analysis? Why show us the KFC analysis? I'm trying to pair the two analysis and what are we getting out of that?
It's more specific to the location as well, Ethan, is that correct?
Yeah, the point of the KFC was to get a specific data point in this neighborhood, even on the street, you know, given it was right next door, for our traffic calculations. So that was really part of my analysis. Is we chose that location. We thought it was the best representation of the traffic patterns. So you know, in my opinion, in terms of traffic generation, it's the most comparable site.
And Ethan, I had in my notes also with it related to the your analysis as to how many you expected to arrive on foot versus by car.
Modal split.
Yeah, we had done the modal split there, so that was the same. You know, and I think the chairperson was looking for a little more details and how we discussed that during the weekday. We found a lower mode share of pedestrians versus the weekend, where it was a higher, and we can clarify that in the statement of facts as well with some more detail. I think we had an expanded statement, but I can be a little more explicit or assist with being a little more explicit in that statement.
Right, because I think given this location, and at least from your analysis, it seems you're going to get more auto share than you would get pedestrian. You may get that on weekends, but not so much on weekdays. So, and we're always looking at how that affects the drive-through and the spillover effects and blocking of vehicular movement. And that's the kind of level of complaints that we are getting from the neighbors.
And we took that all into account when we did our queuing analysis in the report. You know, we applied those modal share rates to the specific peak hours on the weekday and the weekend.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So I think that clarification would be helpful as to what you anticipate your peak hours to be and where are you basing it off versus what are you using the KFC for modal splits and then you're putting that analysis based on that. That to me was not clear. So
understood.
Do provide that. Okay, I just make sure since have you addressed the air quality in this case?
Yes, I believe we have. Chair, you also had a question about, like, do we serve breakfast? We did include a statement in the statement of facts. The restaurant will not serve breakfast, and trash pickup will typically be scheduled in the morning hours before the restaurant is open to customers. So we did add that, but if there is something else you would like to see.
That is fine.
You also asked why we didn't use Merrick as a comparison. That restaurant is not open yet. So that is the simple reason why we didn't use that.
I'll also just note that for the calculation, the Ohio study, we didn't use any traffic volume data from that study. We just studied that location to understand the service rate of the Raising Cane's, and basically how quickly they operate the drive-through, and that was an established location, so it was that was the only calculation used. It didn't equate, the volume an Ohio site would have compared to a New York site. We used the correct calculations for that.
Okay, understand.
And finally, Chair, there were a few comments about the barbed wire. So I wanted to make sure that point was clear. If we proceed with the restaurant, the development of the restaurant, and the construction of the restaurant, the barbed wire would be gone. The chain link fence would be gone. We're instead proposing the solid acoustic wall. But the barbed wire, I believe, is there today as an existing site condition. So I didn't know if was there an expectation that it would be taken down now?
I have it in my note that someone had raised it and it was going to be removed, so that's why I brought it up.
I originally did.
Oh, okay.
So we would remove it as part of construction and part of development.
Yeah, understand.
Okay.
That Commissioner Otley Brown, are you okay with
It
that?
hasn't been developed yet.
Right,
so
okay.
That's fine.
Okay. That seems reasonable. All right, let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2025-41 BZ, 13802 Hillside Avenue, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 160727-5297 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, press *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
Okay, Ms. Benke, I had a question. It seems there are 2 E-designations applicable to this site. Do both of those E-designations need to be referred to, or is it one specific one?
That's a good question. That was going to be one of my follow-up questions. I think technically it is both of them, although the EAS refers to the more recent one, because if you look in Appendix C of the zoning resolution, hazmat is separately and it's from the previous one. And then the more recent one references that there wasn't an existing E-designation on the site for hazmat. It doesn't give it a new hazmat number. So I think that should be clarified in the EAS. And I was also going to ask if you want some sort of note on the plans, just noting that there are.
Put on the plan with regards to the E-designation and all the environmental conditions applicable should be part of the condition, and also the ones that need to be indicated on the plan should be included in the plan.
Okay, so I'll send my follow-up. That was really my only comment on the EAS.
You have no other environmental outstanding issues, right?
No.
Okay,
Okay, no one's raised their hands or called in.
right.
How much time do they need?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to make a recommendation to close.
Oh, okay.
And keep the record open with regards to all the environmental notes that need to be added to the plans and revising the documents, providing clarity with regards to the analysis. And we can schedule this for April.
Motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
To the 1, 2, 3, 4, to the 5 people that are in the waiting room, if you have not heard your case or may have missed your case, and wish to submit any comments, you may do so by submitting at submit@bsa.nyc.gov.
And
you.
if you did, we did have another hearing yesterday. So if you signed in today for for the cases that we heard yesterday, you can always go to our website
Yes.
and listen to our hearing. And if you have any questions or comments, you can make your comments known through submit@bsa.nyc.gov.
And Chair, I can confirm that at least that 4 out of the 5 are with the Raising Cane's team. So I'm sure they're just listening in.
That's helpful. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You 4 out of 5 are exempted.
All right, is that it? We're
Okay.
good? We're done?
Yes.
Thank you, one and all.
You're good.
So would we be heard, can we be heard on the April 13th, 14th dates for Hillside as well?
If your application is thoroughly complete and submitted on time and with all the information provided, yes. If
Okay,
not,
so we'll follow up with the case manager in the hopes that we can get on that.
Okay, thank you, one and all. This concludes the public hearing for March 10th, 2026.
have a good day, everybody.
Thank you very much.